Hi guys, it's Andy, the expedition hiker, and we're on another trail. Now this one I went a bit north for, is in right up near enough the top of Scotland. So this one's called the Moray Coast Trail. It stretches 46 miles and starts in the area of Cullen and heads along the coast. And we're heading towards Inverness, which is about 60 miles to my west. About 55 miles southeasterly direction is Aberdeen.
Aberdeen being the third biggest city in Scotland after Edinburgh and Glasgow, where Inverness is the most northern city in the UK and within the Scottish Highlands.
Right up at the top of it. Now this is an interesting walk. So along the way we should see a bottle-nosed dolphins, and they're actually renowned for this area. In fact, only 2 places in Britain you can see bottlenose dolphins, this being one of them. Also the occasional whale, basking whales, killer whales, they all float around this area, because this area is called the Moray Firth. It is a triangular section of inlet water to the North Sea, and that is slightly warmer waters, which attracts these dolphins and also even seals. One of the biggest colonies of seals are found here as well, up to 1,400 grey seals. We're going through some heritage villages and some World War II relics, which was the thing that interested me in the first place. And then I started to find out all these other extra things too. So this is the Moray Coast Path, 46 miles. I'm aiming to do it in about 3 days. So with that, we're going to head off. And we are off on our route on the Moray Coast Path. And as you can see, what a gateway and an entrance to start off with. Right, you can see the signpost here, Moray Coast Trail. Now the actual sign I believe we're going to be seeing is a circle, white writing, which say Moray Coast Trail, and then a bird in front, which might be an osprey. But anyway, we're going to walk down towards the fishing port just down here, and then we're walking alongside the beach. The old little fishing port. Now this used to be a good port for herrings back in the day. They have a local dish called the Cullen skink. It's a hearty soup. It's made of milk, potatoes, butter, and the key ingredient, haddock. To walk across this beach, our next point is these 3 stones in front of us. This area is the south coast region of the Moray Firth, a Scots Sea inlet to the North Sea. It has its own microclimate, being one of the driest and sunniest places in Scotland. Although tomorrow, I believe it's raining all day. Anyway, looking closer to where I am, we start in the village of Cullen, part of the Royal Burgh of Moray.
St Mary's Church, the old church of Cullen. Obviously, I wouldn't have seen the organs of the Queen, but it does date back some distance, I think from around the 10th century. Now, when I first read about the Queen and her organs, I thought they were referring to her organ as in she plays the organ and the organ's been donated to the church, not her internal organs when she died. But hey ho, each their own. And this is route number 1 of the National Cycle Network. This is the Cullen Viaduct. A single track train follows this route. Now underneath me is 7 arches. It's made of rubble stone, built in 1888. On the left is the Temple of Pomona. And to our right, I've shown it already, but I'll show it one more time. It is the coast, the Moray Firth. With this triangular section of water, it's slightly warmer than the actual North Sea. And that is the reason why whales, dolphins, and porpoises and seals are seen along this Moray coastal path. And I'm hoping as we continue to walk along it, we shall see them too. As well as that, there's other things to see as well. Along the route are historical fishing villages, caves and sandy beaches. Lossiemouth is an RAF base, the biggest in the UK, and it's also had its fair share involvement in the Second and First World War. It's got some interesting things near Lossiemouth that still remain. Legend has it that within the vicinity a Scots, a Danish and a Norwegian king are buried, marked by the 3 isolated rocks within Colin Bay, named the 3 Kings. However, it is possible that these rocks derive their name from a similarity of the name Cullen or Cologne, as in the medieval mystery play The 3 Kings of Cologne. I don't think this is a view you could ever get bored of. And the gulls waiting for their next meal. I did bring this camera with me for spotting dolphins and whales, because it's got 30x optical zoom on it. But lovely. I'm not going to get bored of looking at that for the next 46 miles. Hopefully you won't too. Now there's something on them rocks. Can't really tell from here what they are. They're not people, they're not that tall. I think it's some sort of wildlife, some sort of gull. In fact, we're a bit north of penguins. Penguins are in Antarctica, not Arctic Circle. Polar bears are in the Arctic Circle. And they're definitely not polar bears. Could be puffins, cormorants, who knows? But we're heading that direction to find out. This could be a very long video. I've only walked a mile and a half, probably spent most of it filming and taking photos. Lovely crashing waves. That's what I brought the big camera for, to zoom in on those dolphins and even maybe see a whale. If you like wildlife, heritage villages, World War II relics, meant to have some of the best sandy beaches in the whole of the British Isles. So with that, plenty to see along the way. A couple of historical things as well, some Suena Stone, an old abbey. Right, so let's keep going. Let's get up to, I think it's called Fiddler's Elbow. Clan Macduff, or Clan Duff, is a lowland Scottish clan, with their claims descend from the original Royal Scot Pictish line, of which Queen Gurk of Scotland belonged. She was the wife of Macbeth, King of Scotland, known as the Red King, son of Feinlich of Moray, who was the ruler of Moray. Macbeth reigned as King of Scotland from 1032 to 1057. The ironic thing about the Shakespeare play of Macbeth is that Macbeth and Macduff didn't get on too well. But funny enough, Macbeth was a Macduff, so not sure how that worked. Anyway, the early chiefs of the clan Macduff were the Earls of Fife. Sir Ian MacCreagh wrote that the clan Macduff was the premier clan amongst the Scottish Highlanders. Clan Macduff was the first Scottish clan to be recognised as a clan by the Scottish Parliament 1384. We've got our first feature. It's Jenny's well. Now Jenny is believed to be an old isolated lady, a lunatic at that. She used to guard this well. Now how long it's been here? It's around 1880, 1890 it appeared. Port Nookie, and that's our next port of call. We're going for a bit of nookie, a bit of Port Nookie. From what I gather, this is my highest climb of the day. Then it's basically downhill eventually to Port Nookie, and then we'll head on towards Buckie and down to the coast, heading towards the Spey Bay. So looking to our right, called the Windies. Now I do believe when the tide is out, you can walk through there. Unfortunately, the tide isn't out. You can see to the right hand side, there's a nice little rock pool there. You can swim in it. Probably nice water actually, salt water obviously. But we're going to head up this path. We'll get up on the top around the edge and we should see something to do with a violin. Now, where those gulls are, to the right of it, a little bit, it's meant to be in a minky well. Keeps showing itself every minute for a little while. But then when the gulls appeared, it disappeared. Oh yeah, yeah. A minke whale. So we'll film this for about another minute before my battery dies.
On his way. I think that might be a goldfish.
Oh yeah, a fin.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Three.
There's about 4. Right, with that, I think we're going to head on. That's our first glimpse. 4 dolphins and a minke whale. So the rock in front of us is a bit of an outcrop. It's not actually attached to the mainland. So this in front of me is called Bow Fiddler's Rock. So Bow Fiddler's Rock is Port Cunnon's best known natural rock feature. What you're looking at is the outcome of a long period of marine erosion that would have begun with the formation of a sea cave. Over a long period of time, the cave would have been widened until the sea was able to flow through the natural arch. As you see the Bow Fiddle today, it forms a mature quartzite sea arch. In time, this arch will collapse into the waves to leave a much less distinctive sea stack. It's meant to look like a bow fiddle. The top part of it, can you see it? I think I can, just about. Right, anyway, we best get on. I think this is called Port Nookie here. Right, Mr. Bow Fiddler, off we go. Right, this is Port Nookie. You see the Moray Coast Trail, and these buildings on our left are old fishermen's huts. Although, look a bit grand for fishermen's huts. Well, the perfect spot for hanging your washing. Although, if it's anything like my washing, it gets blown off the line. You've got a long way to go to get it, all the way down there. So this is Port Nookie, as we head out of it. Oh, it's a warm day, it is indeed. I don't mean to, but I keep speaking in a Scottish accent. Now, I'm not sure how clear this is going to be, but right on the horizon we can see some landscape. So that's the other part of the Moray Firth coastland, more the eastern side. And as we head up along that way, we see a little bit of a mound. And just to the right of that is, I believe that might be just north of Wick. We can see, well, we can't see, but we know that is John O'Groats, the highest point in Great Britain on the coast. There is a slightly further bit up, about 5 miles to its left. Now, I've cycled from John O'Groats in the past, back in my 20s. Some of the pictures on the screen there. Over the feet of it at the time, 916 miles in 67 hours. I've had to sleep on the bike twice and crashed twice. It was a bit of a task, but I was a lot fitter. I had a lot brown hair then. That's grey, white, and I'm a lot older now. Anyway, let's keep going. We're heading towards Finlockie now. And looking back towards Port Nookie, a little bay. I pronounced it wrong earlier, Finlockie. So that's the old fishing port down there, heritage fishing port. That's where we're heading to. So we've got the monument up on the hillside, and here a bit of a sculpture, old fisherman looking out to sea. These sees the works of the Lord and the wonders in the deep. There we go, this is the first Moray Coast Trail sign I've seen, as in the symbol on a post. There's quite a few golf courses. In particular, one in about 4 or 5 miles, I believe, is called the Spey Links Golf Course, so it's quite in the top 100 golf courses in the world, I believe, or has been at some point. So in front we have Buckie. It's the largest town that we'll be passing along this Moray Coast Trail. I've just looked at the weather forecast. It was pending rain from 4 AM, which I wasn't too keen on packing up my tent in the rain. But the weather forecast now says 9 AM the rain should start. So that means that I should be up, tent away, and walking in the rain. And I think it's going to be off and on rain all day tomorrow. Those dogs look at me. You can't make me out, probably because I'm talking to myself. Buckie! I think I must have run out of bait. A little cave. By the look of it, by the concrete, possibly reference to World War II, a little bomb shelter. If you like a jackdaw, then this is the place to go. In fact, I've seen more jackdaws than I've seen seagulls. Buckie's growth and prosperity has resulted from the development of the fishing industry. Dating back to the 17th century, small communities settled around any suitable bays or beaches, from where they could easily fish and pull their boats ashore. A fishing community grew up around the mouth of the Buckie Burn, and with the development through the years, the smaller settlements of Nether Buckie, now Buckpool, Eastern Buckie, Yardie, Ianstown, Gordonsburg and Port Essie have amalgamated to form what is now known as present-day Buckie. Throughout time, the courage and the skill of the fishermen in Buckie earned them a reputation. So in the centre of Buckie we have this, which I believe is a memorial to the soldiers and sailors that fought in the Great War. So we're in the centre of Buckie now. So we got a single church there. Heading down towards the water. So a little bit of an update. Well, I'm walking towards Port Gordon now. The problem I've got at the moment is, I thought, well, these little fishing ports and being like a touristy area, there'll be plenty of little shops and convenience stores. It seems that's not the case. In fact, to the point that I've got no water and I haven't actually got a meal for tonight. I've got 3 echo cakes and an energy bar. And unless there's anything in the next mile, then I don't think I've got anything till tomorrow evening as in a way of food or drink. That's something to think about. The big place was Buckie, but went through it down the high street, and the only place I found was a chip shop that sold chips alone for £5 and no drinks. So here we are, Port Gordon, founded by the Duke of Gordon. Now, I have been told that the other side of Port Gordon I should see some seals, and if we keep going another 3 or 4 miles I should see some dolphins. Let's hope. Let's hope. The origins of the village and its harbour date back to 1797, when it was founded by Alexander, 4th Duke of Gordon. As the village developed, it became an amalgamation of 3 distinct communities. As the fishing activities increased, so did the import and export trade, and Port Gordon soon became the principal port in the area. Around 1920s, street lighting was introduced to the village, but as there was no gas or electricity supply, these newfangled inventions were powered by paraffin. Port Gordon was one of the last communities in the area to switch to electric lighting, which resulted in the village acquiring the dubious title of Paraffin City. Well, I've just reached this point here at Port Gordon as it meets up with the A990, and if you look up there, a lifesaver, a spa shop. And funny enough, he had quite a array of items to go for, including Mr. Beast Feastables. I've seen them on YouTube, I've tried them, so I bought a bar. I've got some water, I've got some food. The only thing now I need is a toilet, but well, we'll work that one out later. Right, let's get going. Right, we've headed off the track. Now we're going to take this footpath now towards Speyside, or Spey Bay. Now that's where the seals and dolphins are believed to be. So we've got about 2.5 miles before we get up to the National Dolphin Centre. So my observations for this walk so far. Well, the problem with trying to find little shops along the way has been a little bit of a problem, but once we've managed to sort that out, it's been really great. Now, it's probably one of the best coast paths I've walked. There's so much to see. If I didn't have a camera, I would have been here 4 hours ago. A great walk so far, but we are knocking on for time, so try and work out how far we're going to get before it gets dark. Right, with that, let's keep going. I think a mile till we get to the Dolphin Centre. I actually just looked on the map. There is a campsite near there. Now, obviously being in Scotland, I have the right to roam and right to camp. So as long as I'm not camping in somebody's garden, or certain estates within Scotland you can't camp, I can generally camp wherever I like, really. So we're just coming in towards Spey Bay. Now I've just seen this structure on my right hand side. No idea what it is. It's like a 2-storey garage made of concrete. Got a little hatch at the top. Possibly a water tower, but I don't know. So anyone knows, put a comment, because I'm really intrigued to know. Right, I think we found a pitch to put my tent for tonight. Just here. Now there is a house here. It doesn't look like anybody's in. It's like a holiday home or something. I think I'm going to pitch my tent here. I mean, I'll be gone by 8 in the morning, so if not before. So I think this is as good a spot as any. And what have I got as a viewpoint? Well, if I look this way, I've got this. And there you have it. I've pitched my tent. So you're probably thinking, what am I rocking out on this coastal path? Well, as you can see, I've got the Elk Kit Orders 2. It's my old favourite. I know it's waterproof, and I know it does the job, and it's nice and compact, especially for wild camping. And inside we have, well, I've got my mountain equipment winter mat. And now, although it's my winter mat, it's also my most comfortable mat, so I've decided to bring this one. It weighs a little bit more, but it's worth a better night's sleep. Then we've got the Trekology old pillow, and on top we've got my second pillow, which is the Van Gogh Eco Soft. And then the quilt I'm sleeping in is my Valiant Peak quilt. No longer make them anymore. This is a superb quilt. And then I've got just the rest of my gear all packed, sorted out, looking a bit tidy-ish. You see there's a little bit of a glow on that building now. Reason why, if we turn round, we've got about about 45 minutes before sunset. Now, all this water, is that going to make me go to sleep? Or am I going to feel like I need a wee all night? We'll put some food on in a minute. And then I think we'll watch the sunset. Because it looks like a nice one. And with that, I'm going to say good evening and good night, and I shall see you in the morning for day 2 of the Moray Coast Path. Seal cup. And it's gone.